Many of you have heard about the movie James Cameron's Avatar. Well, Ubisoft decided to start developing the game along with the movie because of the big hype for it. Typically all movie-based games have sucked really badly, but just because I'm a huge Avatar fan, I just decided to buy it, try it, and give my own opinion on it.
3 words for you. Don't screw up.
I got it.
There isn't too much to tell about the story. Basically, you're a signal specialist, or SIG-Spec for short, and you're brought to Pandora for the Avatar program. An avatar is basically a human-controlled body that is created using a human's DNA and a Navi's DNA to create a so-called Dreamwalker, as called by the Navi, which means you're controlling the avatar from a distance inside a link chamber.
Whoa. It's okay, Ryder. This is normal. Sit down and we'll send you back.
You will be assigned to do things for the RDA, and in the end you will find out that those who do harm to the Navi people without him even knowing about it. So he has to decide who he will side with, the evil RDA or the peaceful Navi.
You fool. Ryder! Damn it!
We got him, Commander. He's alive.
A good part is, depending on who you choose, you will get 2 different stories, which would be good if they only weren't so similar and in the end both get connected to the same thing, only with a different ending to the game. As the RDA, you have to destroy or take control of Pandora and everything, or as the Navi, you have to get rid of the RDA and save Pandora. So as you can see, the story is already related between both sides. As far as the gameplay goes, it is playable. Not the best or worst, just playable. The game has many flaws and annoying things in it. For example, playing as the Navi, you will use the Dire Horse a lot to move around fast. Once you find enemies and decide to fight, your Dire Horse or Ikran or Thanator will be in the way. You will hit them by accident and they will fight against you then. I mean, you're supposed to be a forest person. Why the fuck would the Viper Wolves even attack you? Or why does your weapon hit your own transportation? And another thing, the controls are decent, but just could be better. They're just stiff at sometimes, and the camera angles can get bad when you're in a tight situation. The game was made with the CryEngine 2 from Far Cry 2, which is the reason why the graphics look so amazing. I will get to that in a bit. But you can get stuck in the most ridiculous places or spots ever. Playing as the Navi can get boring really quick. Navi are specialized in melee combat or with the bow, and both are very strong. Only a few hits and your enemy is dead. You just won't feel any challenge at all playing as the Navi. As for the RDA, the amount of weapons, the difficulty, since you have to shoot a lot in order to kill everything, is much more funner. This is the highlight of the game, the graphics. Just because the capabilities of the CryEngine 2 in regard of graphics, they came out just perfect. You can just fly around with your Ikran or Samson helicopter for a long time just looking at the beauty of Pandora, which in my opinion is the most important part they got actually right with the movie. Since we're already talking about the way of transportation, let me point out that flying will show you the beauty of Pandora more than the crappy buggy, which has the worst camera angles while driving in the entire library of games out there. The multiplayer was meant as an afterthought for the game, but I find it quite fun, but imbalanced and hard to find games at all. Because of the fact that not many people own this game, there's hardly anyone in the multiplayer. When playing in the multiplayer, be ready to die a lot. when playing as the RDA. Since the Na'vi can kill you in basically 2 to 3 hits, and their arrows are poisoned as well, it doesn't really take too much effort with them. Get in close range, hit 2-3 times and the human is dead, while as the RDA, you have to spam most of the weapons and abilities to even get a kill at all. Since the server hosting is basically similar to Modern Warfare 2, the game will find out of all the people who is the best server candidate, and he will be the host. If he leaves or lags, it happens to him. Even I was lucky to get this much footage, considering the amount of people who play this or own this game. But if you do get a hands on it, try the multiplayer. It can be a real fun, since with less players, it feels like a cat and mouse game. Overall, this game is decent in almost every aspect. It just could be better. If anyone knows the game Gothic 3, you would know the game was really bad, buggy and everything when it was released, but almost 4 years from now, with a lot of patches that came out, it is now really good and playable. If you're a console user, this game is a rental, unless you're willing to pay the full price of course, then it is a buyable, but don't expect to play it too much. It doesn't have too much replay value, maybe for the multiplayer. I just hope Ubisoft decides to do a lot of patches to this game and add more content. I have even heard ideas for an MMORPG out of this game, which is an excellent idea considering how big this world is. This would be similar to Aeon, but in another way. So I give this game a rating of 7 out of 10 or 3 stars out of 5, depending how you like the game to be rated.